All right. Hey everybody, I'm AndrewStartups, and I'm here with Nick from the Peck Project, the Revenge Body. I'll put the links below. Essentially, Nick is a friend of mine, and I see him doing a ton of work on social media, unbelievable content, great message. You're helping people from around the world, and I wanted to take an hour or 30 minutes, we'll see how long this video ends up, to help Nick with his marketing and give him some free advice. So he's been gracious enough to let me record this. I'm going to start doing this more. I'm going to put this on YouTube, on social media, in other places. You see, it's not really professionally recorded or anything. It's about the value in the content. So here we go. So Nick, give us the 1-minute overview on your business and what you do.
So I run a program called the Revenge Body Program, and it's to help people who they've gone through some sort of big challenge or a traumatic event or whatever to get their revenge and their success through fitness, through nutrition, and through some mindset content. So I take all of the stuff from the best people in the world and I provide it to them, and they not only get an education on how to train effectively, how to eat effectively, but how to live at the most optimal level that they can,
Nice.
as well as develop their relationship with themselves and with others.
Nice. Who's your ideal client?
Those people who have been through those, they got that strong emotional driver for a big transformation process.
But like, is there an age? Is there a location? Is there a gender? Is there an income level? Give me more so I can segment the marketing down.
I'd say age probably 25 plus.
Okay.
I would say both men and women can be from pretty much anywhere in the world, and financially they've got to have enough resources to be willing to invest in themselves.
What does it cost? What's your price point? What's your lifetime value for a customer?
Price point right now for 120 days is $997.
Okay,
USD.
so it's $1,000 for a several-month program.
Yep.
Not really cost prohibitive. Doesn't need to be someone super rich.
No.
And what is the end goal that they get from this $1,000 investment?
They're going to come out the other end with knowing how to train, knowing how to eat for whatever goal that they have, as well as manage stress, inflammation, and just have better relationships with the people around them, so their performance in life and their quality of life is going to go up everywhere.
Awesome. In case you can't tell in the video, Nick is super jacked. Go like this real quick, make me look bad. All right. I mean, I'm not. So obviously he knows what he's talking about. I've also seen the results in his social media. Tell me a little bit about what you're doing to get clients right now.
So right now I'm obviously across like TikTok and Instagram and Facebook. I'm creating reels every week, trying to provide value. I've also got a few ambassadors who they rep the program and the results each week, and then it's just outreach, just looking for people.
Okay, so first thing I want to talk about, and I know I've mentioned it to you before, but I want to say it on video and say it to everyone who's watching, is organic social media has a very limited reach. Unless you're spending money, you have to do the 80-20 rule. If you're spending 80% of your time making amazing content and only 20% of your time promoting that content, you're never going to go anywhere. And so you need to be able to match that. Whatever amount of time you're spending creating the content, you have to spend the same amount of time or money promoting the content. When I first started making my online courses, I spent 30 grand making the online courses and then 5 grand on ads and gave up. And it's oblong. It has to be equal. And in fact, really, you should spend most of the effort promoting the content than creating it. So first thing I want you to do is I want to talk a little bit about how you can scale up your social media with little time investment. Because I know what it's like to spend all day working on a post, then you post it and it gets 13 likes and doesn't get seen by anyone. Community is a really big deal, and it's the #1 fastest growing trend in marketing. And so starting with like a newsletter or some kind of free thing that people can get access to you from, whether it's a free group or community or Discord, and just pushing everybody there with all of your content, and then working that group and that community is a great thing, because once you have a community, not a social media following, you own it. You can communicate to them, an email list, subscriber base, as much as you want. And so that's a really ideal thing, but I don't really do that, and my business grows, and I have a coaching program, and it's the right thing to do, but it takes a long time to build that community. So if you want really quick results with little time investment, the first thing you have to do is automate your on-page social media. We want to separate on-page, what you're doing on your own pages, from what you're doing off of your own pages, okay? And a lot of times people are only spending time on creating content on their own pages, which if you have, let's say, what's your total follower base? A couple thousand?
Yeah, like 2,500.
Okay,
right now.
2,500, you're getting maybe 200 impressions per post. You know, they're only going to show it to about 10%. That's why they're pushing you to boost and run ads, and never ever boost a post. Ever. Never ever do it. If anything, go into the ads manager, watch a couple courses on YouTube, and run actual ad campaigns with the top performing organic content. But if you don't have a budget for that, you need to create a social media strategy. So you already have some insight and ideas into what works. You can also look at your competitors or your inspiration, figure out what works for them, and you can not necessarily copy, but you can be inspired by those ideas. Then once you have a strategy literally written out on Google Docs, like this is my strategy, I'm gonna post 25% educational startup founder stuff, 25% startup founder memes, like you make it relevant to what you're talking about, what your message is. But then you use that framework to gather and create content in batches, okay? So your content's really time heavy, but if you have an idea that you wanna make 20 educational videos about pecs, one session in the gym you can record those 20 clips, and they don't need to all be you talking. There's an easier way to do it than you speaking to the camera every time. Not everybody is made for this direct to camera stuff and able to do it in one take like we are. So what you need to do is 20 clips of you actually working your chest, and then just text image stuff over it, which can be done with AI, can be done with a guy in India on Fiverr, can be done with an intern, can be done super cheap and affordable, or one day a month. So let's imagine, you know, with the strategy and with a huge batch of content, you go to a tool like Social Champ or Later or Planoly. There's a bunch of, or Buffer, bunch of planning tools out there. You can see a calendar view, drop all those posts into, and then you're posting on Pinterest, LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, everything all at once, TikTok, all at once through those tools. By the way, Social Champ I think is free for one person, and then if you have a team it costs more money, but you can use that to make sure that you're posting on every page, on every account, and you can start to see organically what channel you should really be focused on, what type of content is really working the most, what hashtags are resonating most with your audience, but it's also feeding good signals to Google for SEO. And like I said, you want that end goal thing to either be a newsletter or go to my website to learn more, or a link tree or whatever. Honestly, I think you should have pecproject.com or some kind of website that's keyword dense. That's really, you know, I know a lot of marketers are out there saying that your newsletter should be the most important thing, and I also think that's great because you own the audience. But at the end of the day, if everybody's already talking about doing it, you're too late. And the one thing that's been consistent through all of online business since the early 90s is a website and SEO. And if you own your website and people come to your website through Google searches, they believe in you, they trust you, and you have a lot less selling to do than you do on social media, which I know has also taken a lot of your time. So if you have pecproject.com / get started, and that, or / another keyword, or therevengebody.com, which you also have. I mean, it's an amazing URL that makes people understand it. And so you can do blog posts and SEO focus those blog posts, top 10 ways to get revenge on a partner. Top 10, that sounds bad, but top 10 ways to get revenge after a breakup. Top 10 ways to get out of post-breakup funk. You write these articles using ChatGPT, takes fucking 10 minutes, and those articles end up getting SEO traffic through your social media stuff. So for me, it's top 10 reasons to hire a growth hacking coach, top 10 reasons to hire a startup marketing consultant. Those are called listicles. Those get very high ranking on Google within 2 or 3 months of putting them there. So they're keyword dense, they're focused, and then your on-page social media, yes, you might get some conversations through social media. I actually closed a small baby customer yesterday through Instagram. I've only really been focusing on it myself for 2 months with these exact strategies that I've been teaching for 10 years because it still takes a time investment. And for me and my business, the other stuff that we're going to talk about is how I've grown my business without having to care about social media at all. When you are B2B, I know you're really B2C, and I was looking for you to say, they're entrepreneurs, because they're people that, one, are used to investing money to building things, growing things, to seeing the results in things. I always tell people doing fitness stuff to focus on entrepreneurs because I am one, and I know how little other entrepreneurs focus on their fitness. I put my fitness first because it enables me to power through work much higher. And everybody talks about my energy levels. I don't drink coffee. I've never done cocaine, maybe once, but anyway. And I get this energy through focusing on my nutrition and fitness. But other entrepreneurs, they focus on getting the money, hustling, growing their business, and then they let their fitness go. And so I've seen a lot of other fitness professionals find success in focusing on entrepreneurs, and that's really why I think it's B2B. They're looking at it as a line item cost in their success and in their business, and it's easier to sell those people on $1,000 project than someone who's never done anything but bought a $1,000 iPhone, right? Which is a total waste of money, but unless you're working with it. So on-page social media, you want to schedule content, you want to look at the analytics on a weekly basis. I mean, I don't check my social media. I don't have a social media app on my phone except LinkedIn, which we'll get to in a second why I do that. And instead of hustling to create that content, you create one content day a month. My wife likes to call it a content party, where we actually sit together and record for each other. We strategize, we give each other advice, pointers. It turns it into a fun thing. You do for a whole 12-hour day, bust out the content. Switching outfits, shave the beard so it looks like it's on a different day. The light changes throughout the day, and nobody is the wiser. And before that day, I'm often taking notes whenever an idea comes to me. I'm doing a session with a client afterwards, like, that's a really good idea for a video. Yeah. By the time that once a month rolls around, mine's not till October 25th, it's September 20th right now. So I guess I'm doing it every 2 months now. By the time that rolls around, you have so many ideas, it's actually easy to bust through all those ideas. So huge reduction in time investment to the on-page. What that enables you to do, Nick, and what I want you to really focus on, without having to spend any money, is what I call off-page social media marketing. And what that is essentially going off of your own pages. Once your brand is set up, you've got the Peck Project, a beautiful logo, beautiful bio, you've got some testimonial content in that strategy that's posting, you've got some really valuable content. A lot of times, all people need to see when you're reaching out is that you're posting regularly. They don't really care about the likes and how big you are. Yes, if you get to hundreds of thousands of followers, you'll get much bigger inbound leads. You'll get much higher conversion rate. People will pay you a lot more than $1,000 to work with you. So you will get that ROI, but you need to have the business first to be able to reinvest. I don't believe in, using debt to finance growing your social media. That's too risky. So instead, you can reinvest a percentage of your revenue coming in every month into growing your social media if you want to run ads after a few months of doing your organic social media and knowing what works. Like, for instance, for me, I've been doing a lot of the direct-to-camera lessons. I haven't done any viral content. The next month, I'm going to start doing viral content, which is a whole other idea, which I'm not an expert in, but I can tell you a little bit. Essentially, it's making a list of all the viral sounds that are going viral and the trends and everything, and applying that to selling your business, whether through the caption or what you're adding in the video. But it could be me sipping a coffee in the window, which I don't drink, sipping a tea, I don't drink that either, sipping water in the window, and putting a viral sound over it, and just focusing on the one channel that was working really well organically when you were testing all of them. That's how you scale it up, right? So, okay, so that's on page. Off of your own pages, what I want you to start doing is putting 1 hour a day. I know it's a lot. Whether you're in an Uber, you're waiting for your girl to get out of the toilet, whatever it is, you have an hour to kill every day somewhere. And you need to DM, message, comment, like, follow other people who are self-qualifying based on what they're talking about, what's in their profile, where they're based physically, all of what they look like, what they're talking about. Like, if someone's saying, I'm a burnt out entrepreneur, I really need to get a hold of my fitness, you can find those people by the hashtags or the keywords that they're using at scale, in real time, every day, and say, I would love to help you out. We can do a free call. Whatever your value prop is, whatever your call to action is, you can test that in those messages. Hey, I'm really sorry you got dumped. That's really horrible. I've been coaching people through breakups. If you feel like you would like to look better, feel better, and get revenge on them by having the nicest body and mind and soul you've ever had, I'd love to have your email address and send you some info about the Revenge Body project that I work on. And in that email, they give you their email every time. Why would they not want to let you email them? It's no skin off their nose. They don't know. They might say, no need to email me. What's the cost? And then you tell them the cost, but you send a video follow-up to that message. which doesn't have to be personalized. You can say, hey, thanks so much for your interest in the PEC project or the Revenge Body project. I just wanted to let you know some of the little more details about it, and then they're usually locked in by that, right? And so that hour a day spent on that, eventually you'll get to like, 20, 30 messages a day, maybe 50 messages a day. It will drive more ROI than anything you do on your own social media.
Okay.
You just have to get to a certain point with your social media where you can look legitimate, feel legitimate to the other person, and show that you're active in your real business. That's the most important thing for baseline on-page social media marketing, okay? So if you're then generating those leads through messaging, you're also growing your social media by following other people that are, burnt out follow. I'm gonna do hashtag burnout, follow every person. Hashtag dumped, hashtag single life, whatever it is. Hashtag recently dumped is gonna be a small amount, but super targeted. Niche hashtags, you can follow those and find a lot of people. But again, you're also sending signals to the social media channel, sending signals to Google that this is what they want you should be raised up for on Google. So there's all kinds of halo effect, outer benefits from doing that stuff. But even, following the most viral posts for those hashtags and commenting on those, going to YouTube, searching what to do after a breakup, and commenting on the top 20 videos. I don't know if you ever heard of the $1.80 social media strategy from Gary Vee. I don't like the name, but the idea is you give your 2 cents to a bunch of from 9 different niches 10 times a day, or whatever, 9 different hashtags, or whatever that is. And that really is true. And I've seen the reflection of that in Google Analytics. If you go, it's YouTube is owned by Google. If you go to YouTube, it's the #2 search engine. Well, I just got dumped. What am I going to do? I'm going to go to YouTube and things to do after a breakup. You know what I mean? You can also make those videos yourself, but you're not going to shoot up to #1 very quickly. So you can make your own video and include all the fitness stuff and then a link below to join your coaching program. And that will you can also run an ad on that later. But I have those kinds of videos. They get like 200-300 views a week. It's nothing crazy organic, but it'll drive traffic to your website. You don't have to spend any money on it. But the more interesting thing, because it's a finite number of hours you need to spend on doing this, you go to YouTube once a month, search the things that your customers would search for, and you comment on those videos with a link to your project. But not something overly horrible salesy, something at least minimally valuable. Like, this is amazing content. I would also add this and this and this. If anybody's interested in this and this and this, my website is this. Something like that. You're building a link to your website for SEO. You're also getting some traffic coming in, and you're creating value for. What is the #1 thing that we do when we go to YouTube, Nick?
Search for stuff.
No, after you scroll down and you go check the comments. So you get if a video has 100,000 views, you're going to get 1,000 or 2,000 impressions on every comment every month. Yeah. So that's what I call off-page social media marketing. That could also mean posting in groups every day, posting in subreddits every day, spending that time 10 hours a week only, which you have because you're no longer going to be spending that on your own social media content creation. You spend that, you will grow your business so much without having to grow your follower base. And that right there is what I have my team doing all the time. I do it myself. When I post a really good video on LinkedIn, I make sure that I spend at least 10-20 minutes sharing it on subreddits, Facebook groups, LinkedIn groups, and it drives everybody back to my LinkedIn. Okay, and so that is then raising me up in organic searches in LinkedIn, because there's some kind of thing in the algorithm that if they're getting organic activity off of their own pages, we should start showing them more, right? Yeah. So for me, LinkedIn is by far and above the most important. We all feel like Instagram and TikTok are the most important because everybody's using it. But we're not everybody. You are a business person, you are an entrepreneur. Most of the people on Instagram and TikTok, they might be customers for you, but they're not thinking about what you are selling when they're on those social media sites. I think you have a harder sell to people on those social media tools than anywhere else for what we're selling. If you build the community and you're giving away free stuff, and then later they're in your newsletter, and then later you're selling them, that's a whole other thing, and you can do that. But again, long term, it takes a long time to build that out, a lot of cost, a lot of time investment. And I think the easiest thing to do is to just focus on LinkedIn and entrepreneurs first. Get your money up from focusing on burnt out entrepreneurs that want to get their fitness, because the revenge body, also a lot of entrepreneurs, it's maybe not revenge with one person in mind, but but it's like, let's get your fitness up to a level that matches your financial success, and then you'll crush it with the men or with the ladies or whatever it is. And so I think it just really resonates a lot, and so I want you to try that. So there's obviously hashtags, you can follow posts, I mean, you can really go on those groups. There's a lot of ways to target those people on social media. So, okay, we talked about social media. We talked a little bit about SEO. I'm going to talk a little bit more about SEO. So, you don't have a website. Yeah, you do have RevengeBody.com.
I do, and it's being revamped. It's in the works right now. Yeah.
So, the number one thing when you're revamping a website is to do it for SEO, not for design.
Yeah, that's what's
like web design is important, just like your social media following, only to a certain degree. At a certain degree, when it looks nice enough, it no longer really matters. You're not a web design agency. You're not a creative agency. No one's looking for bells and whistles and all this stuff. It needs to be text heavy, code light. Okay, and what that means is there's a text to HTML ratio with your website, and I don't want to go super technical SEO, but you can just go text to HTML ratio checker free online and find that and see, fuck, we have way too much HTML and not enough text. Then you have to use ChatGPT, create keyword dense content. So the home page of your website, you want it, and you're not going to be selling multiple products because it would go homepage, category, like Yelp. The ideal website for Google is a directory listing site. You want it to be designed like Yelp. So homepage, broad terms, that someone might search for. Category, product, way more specific terms. You're not going to have that because you're not like a supplement company. That's going to be, for instance, I think you were in that industry in the past, health food supplements would be homepage. Protein supplements could be a category, and then creatine would be the product, right? So to see how that goes. And then the more specific the search term, the more it comes up. Well, with a general business like mine or yours, I'll just use me as an example. My homepage for AndrewStartups is, startup coaching or startup speaker. I can't remember what it is. No, I think it's growth hacking. Startup growth hacking is the main term for the homepage. And then the speaking page is startup growth hacking speaker. Then the consulting page is startup growth consultant, right? Those are products, right? And so and then the blog is where it gets really interesting. Every individual blog page is optimized for a different term. And blogs get ranked the most. You can pause this video, go to Google and search top 10 of anything, you'll find a blog post. And the reason why that is the whole blog post is designed for SEO. It's nothing but text, it has no bells and whistles, it's very keyword dense, and it's fast loading. That's why blogs were created, and that will rank very high. You'll see if you search for anything medical, it's Healthline, it's WebMD, those are all blog articles. That's why they're super long articles full of text. If you search for a recipe, you know how annoying it is to scroll down and get the actual recipe? Because they're filling it full of keyword dense content before that, okay? So you need to do that, and you need to spend one day a month making like 10 blog posts about top 10, top 7, all these things that are gonna be educational free content with a hyperlink in every paragraph to learn more about your coaching and your program. And you can put that blog post into social media. You can put that blog post into the YouTube videos. You can make YouTube videos of that blog post leading to the blog post. But everything can drive back to that blog post. And then if they're reading and they get sold, they click and usually I think the ideal conversion should be book a free 15-minute consultation or something. Or it could be paid if you really, I don't do free stuff anymore at my level, and maybe you don't want to do that either, but I get a lot of people pissed off about that message me, and that's okay because it's $500 for the first call, and people still book it every week, and they're like, oh my God, yesterday on a free call, a $500 call with someone from Instagram, which never happens. It's usually, tech startups that don't have enough money to pay for actual consulting that just need 1 hour. And this guy came from social media. I wanted to make it an unbelievably valuable session for him, like we're having now, but times 10. And he didn't have a brand or a website or anything yet. We came up with a brand, we came up with a logo, we redid his LinkedIn, we came up with a social media strategy. I showed him how to do SEO for his new website, got him a web designer for really cheap from my network. All of this in 1 hour, and he was just like, it's crazy, right? And so you have to ignore the naysayers, and if you do whatever you want, if you have the ability and time to be able to try at least once doing free 30-minute calls, I mean, I did it for a long time and it had a very high close rate, especially until the pandemic. So I was happy to meet with anybody. And then since the pandemic, there's been an explosion in entrepreneurship. There's a lot of people that are not past the idea stage, that if you do free calls in my industry, you're going to waste a lot of time. And so even a small 99, I mean, I know people that are in the huge multi-million-dollar consultant range and they just do $99. And that's enough to cut out all the time wasters.
Yeah.
They don't need the $99. So for me, I want more skin in the game. But you decide what your conversion is. And you know, if it's a 15-minute call, try it, do it. I think 15 minutes with you is enough for them to see that, holy shit, this is on another level, you know, and we should actually move forwards. And you know, if you do 20 of them and you don't close any of them, you stop doing the free calls and you want to get the skin in the game. Okay, so talked about blogging, talked about SEO, talked about social media, the off-page social media outreach. Honestly, I feel like that's pretty solid, really what you should focus on. I think you mentioned you also do partnerships a little bit. Can you tell me a little bit more about the kind of partners you're working with?
Yeah, so I've got a couple of supplement companies and a couple of other things that we use in the program. So like ice bathtubs, I'm looking to partner with other stuff so people can level up their game in both their clothing, their self-care, grooming, all that sort of stuff, so they can kind of level up. And I've got somewhere to direct them where not only are they going to get a value and some sort of deal, but we can kind of all work together.
Yeah, but they're not driving leads for you. They're just getting you extra revenue. So that's not the important kind of partnership. You are going to make very minimal amounts of money on those recommendations. And yeah, I know that's not your focus. It's helping your clients. It creates the full package for the client. But that's low level priority because you got to get the client first.
Yeah.
You can't get any value for those. So what I want you to focus on is drafting up, brainstorming 10 kinds of partners that you could work with. I'll give you an example. Dating coaches. Dating coaches, especially in LA where I used to live, they're constantly getting the same client. Break up, go back to the dating coach. The dating coach, you're not competitive to a dating coach. You're not. You actually are supplementary. If they can't get this person to work and their ass off and get their health in check. So they're going to have the same issues with their dating over and over again because they're not changing anything on their physical appearance or their physical health, their feeling, their happiness. And you can provide that. So I could see a very beautiful synergy where you can recommend clients to the dating coach. Yeah. Look, this lady got her body, she's finished the program. I would love to have you come in and speak to all my clients when they finish. 30 minutes free, they will do it. Yeah. 30 minutes free for partners is different because they're qualifying the partner. So that's different, you know what I mean? Like, you offer to give yourself free for any 30-minute coaching call to any dating coach clients, and they will do the referral for you. That's why they get their commission, usually about 10% lifetime. Yeah. So you're only giving them $100, but you're going to make it a $1,500 program so that you're actually going to make more. You're making $1,350. They're doing the sales, and this closing rate is so high, the sales cycle is so low. And it's because this person has already done the work to earn that customer's trust, right? Yeah. They are telling you, oh my God, I have the perfect person you talk to take it to the next level. They're doing all the sales for you. You're being recommended by a trustworthy person. The referrals are amazing, and it is literally one day of work to get new partners, right? So you brainstorm. You can also ask ChatGPT, what are 10 different niches for channel partners? So it's called channel partners. Channel partners means all the different types of partners. So looking at it as a strategy for business development, it's, wedding planners, divorce attorneys. I don't know. A divorce attorney could be really interesting, actually. Yeah. They don't care about anything but their money. So they just want that check coming from you. Yeah, I'll send you a $250 Amazon gift card every time. You know what I mean? Like, a lawyer doesn't really care about getting $250, but the gift card's nice because it just sits there. Yeah. And then they just have a stack of them and they send you. I'm pretty sure there's probably about 20,000 just in America divorce attorneys that you could email in a day. I mean, like with software, you can email in a day. With your own manual thing, you could try 100 in the really, really high earning locations like New York and LA where people really make out in a divorce. Like they get a lot of money, they want to feel amazing, or they get beat down, they lost a lot of money and they just want to get over the depression of it. I mean, probably you're going to find out yes or no in a week if that's a good channel, right? So there's divorce attorneys, there's dating coaches. I don't know, give me another idea of a potential partner for you.
Any kind of like
addiction coach, addiction specialist, addiction centers where you can come in and speak virtually to people. 1 hour of hearing you talk about these things is gonna, you know what, I am gonna get over this. I am gonna beat this. And I think a lot of times they get their health and fitness in check, they feel better about themselves, and then boom, there's no more self-loathing and the addiction goes away. I can totally see that. So we just named like 3 or 4 potential partners right there. What you're gonna do is you're going to go on LinkedIn and you're gonna search those keywords. You're gonna find 25 people on LinkedIn, on Twitter, and on Instagram. And you could also, if you were an extra overachiever and you're listening to this, go to email and guess their email address or find their email address. Yeah. A lot of times, if you search them, or they're going to have their link in bio is going to have a contact us. You can go through a message, but you're going to go to Google Docs and you're going to use ChatGPT again. When you use ChatGPT to write cold messages, you need to follow up with remove 50% of the text and focus on only the most important things. You tell that to ChatGPT, and it'll reduce the message to really short. You only want to have 3 things in your cold message. If you didn't listen to anything else in the video, this is the most important thing I'm going to say, because everything in life comes from cold outreach. I met my wife through DMing her on Instagram. And if I had sent a huge long message like, hey, I'm Andrew, I do this and that, and I'm coming to South Africa and I really want to do yoga with you and I think you're really amazing and hot and whatever, never would have got a response. My line was, hey, I'm a cool traveler coming to South Africa, want to show me around, right? Yeah. So that's just a short example, but for Nick, it's going to be like, hey, I have this incredible program that helps people do X. I think that we could be amazing partners and you could get X, Y, Z. Can we jump on a quick call? That is just who you are, and it's not your name and all where you're from, and I'm Canadian, and I do this, and I've been doing this for 12 years and whatever. It's really short and to the point with who you are in the sense of what value you have for them. They're going to overlook it if your message is really long, okay? So the longer your message, the lower the response rate. I know it's really, really hard. I see clients all the time struggling with outreach, and you have to remove, that's why I said use ChatGPT and tell it to remove 50%. You want it to be 20% who you are, 60% the value that you have for them. So in a partnership thing is, my clients spend this much, I'm doing this much referral. You know, if you have clients that are X, Y, Z, that's the chunk of value for them. And then a call to action is the last 20%, which could be, should I send over some case studies? Should I send over my Calendly link? Asking a question is a call to action because they need to answer it. Giving them a link to look at, a video to look at, a PDF to look at is a call to action, or a link to book a meeting with you is really like the main call to actions that you can test. You can test those out. But if you craft that message to those partners and you do 50 or 100 messages in the next week, bro, it's going to be unbelievable, the response for you. You're going to have a lot of meetings. You're going to have a lot of people that are like, oh, yeah, maybe I'll do it. You have to make it very easy for the partner to move forward. If I'm a lawyer making 500 grand a year working with divorcees, I might be like, you know, I don't really care. Like, okay, all you have to do is just drop in a line. Like if you see someone that's really struggling after, hey, I have this coach that I work with that helps people get over breakups by focusing on your health and fitness as it's called Revenge Body. Can I introduce you to him? He said he'll do 30 minutes free. All they have to do is say that. Yeah. That's it. He doesn't need to sign a contract with you. He doesn't need to think about it from a revenue standpoint. You're just trying to help I know you're just trying to help your clients, you know what I mean? And so a lot of times these big high earners, everybody wants to just focus on their business, right? Yeah. They're not going to be, but you have to keep up with it because if they care about their client, they want to see what value you can offer them. And so you can offer shit for free for the first client, not the whole program, but hey, I'll speak to your next client free, the next one free, and then they'll let you know how amazing this program is. Or here's a video and you can see, and you need to get a video of somebody talking about how transformational your coaching program was, and then that will pull on their heartstrings. So I think partnerships, SEO, social media, blogging, outreach, it's a lot for you to do, but you start with the scheduling of all that social media content. That's going to free up all of your time to then strategize and focus on these other things. And you just do 3 months, putting everything you have into those other strategies. The SEO is not going to pay off in 1 month. The outreach will. So you can start with that, or you could start with the SEO, get it done because your website's being redone, and then after that, you can have the time while that's being raised up. Because SEO, really quickly before I let everybody go, is 2 things. It's what you do on your own page and what you do off of your own page, just like that social media. So the stuff you do on your own website is a week, 2 weeks, month max effort, rewriting the keywords, fixing the website to be faster, removing the technical things that block the site from ranking. And then all the other stuff you do after that on social media, the outreach, the blogging, the PR, if you're getting PR, which we didn't talk about, but that's a whole other strategy. Influencer stuff you could also do, which is partnerships as well, events. You can do so much. Fly to LA and have a singles mixer. Everybody just recently broke up or is single. Unbelievable opportunity to get clients. So there's a lot of things like that, but we wanted to talk about the things that Nick can do now. And if you're listening to this and you don't have a huge marketing budget like Nick doesn't and shouldn't, until you get, if you're closing 10 clients a month and you have 10K, then you can go back and change the whole strategy. Fly to LA and back, not even $1,000 investment to do an event, and you're gonna close 20K in clients maybe. So those are things second level. This is first level, get the stuff off the ground. Do that on-page SEO, and then all the other stuff you do is gonna raise your profile up. And I'm telling you, I've only been doing it for myself now, after doing it for clients for so long, for 3 months. I'm already on the first page for Founders Retreat. I'm on the third page for Growth Hacking Coach. I'm on the third page for Startup Marketing Coach in 3 months. And I will get to the first page without any spend, all from doing these things that I'm telling you. If it takes even a year, the rest of the time that you run this business, it's free leads for life. You know what I mean? You have to maintain a little bit of SEO. We monitor it. We look at it once a week as a team, but it's not cost investment. And Google is the most important thing. Don't let the 19-year-old kid on TikTok tell you and convince you that you have to do it for the gram and that you have to grow your social media. You don't. If you're selling a high-ticket item, yes, community would be amazing. You need to spend to build a community. I listen to Cody Sanchez. I listen to, who's your favorite guy, the nose strip guy, Alex Hormozy. Those people admit very few times, but they admit they spend at least $500K a month on ads.
Oh yeah.
So there is no way, they make it sound like you need to do these things, you need to do this. You're not growing a 1 million person following organically. You're not. But you can go off of your own pages and close clients and make $1 million without your social media. You can, and I have, and I will promise you other people do it. So don't be distracted by what you see other influencers doing. I'm telling you, and what my book is all about, and I'll put the link below to my book, it's all about actionable things that you can actually do and actually get results. Okay, man?
Awesome.
Any questions for me from this?
No, it's perfect.
Awesome.
Everything I needed.
Awesome. If you're interested in finding out more about Nick, it's the Peck Project, or Peck Project, P-E-C Project on Instagram. If you can't tell, his fucking pecs are massive. But I think the coolest thing he does, which is not male or female specifically focused, is the revenge body. It's, what is the actual, it's the dot revenge body?
The dot revenge body.
The dot revenge body. And the idea is, it doesn't matter even if you got in a recent breakup. The idea is, be your best self, be the best you. You're getting revenge on everybody else, on anything out there. Like, even if you don't have the success yet that you want financially, I can tell you from experience, it starts within. And if you focus on this first, then you have the energy, then you have the drive, then you're popping out of bed in the morning to go and achieve your goals. And so I think $1,000 is an incredibly low cost to get the goals and the energy and the traction that you need to achieve everything else. An online course is not going to give you what Nick can give you. And so find him, follow him, get in touch with him. He'll owe me a commission if you name drop me. And obviously I'm Andrew Startups. And you can find me on AndrewStartups.com or at AndrewStartups everywhere. And my book is the Startup Growth Book. I hope that you grow your business, and hit us both up with any questions. Peace.